Facebook Live edition, the 2017 DeLand Sport Aviation Showcase. Along with my co-conspirator Mike Daniels, I'm your host, Dave Shallbetter. A lot of you know me from Sun and Fun Radio, but for the past 3 days here, I've been hosting the Showcase stage, a brand new feature here at the DeLand Sport Aviation Showcase 17. We're allowing our vendors, sponsors, and exhibitors to come on up on stage and tell people a little bit about their product, their wares, what they do. And our next guest is actually making the company's second appearance here on the stage. And the previous one was done by Mike, who covered a lot of the technical end of things, and now Mike wanted to be behind the camera again. So I'm up on stage talking to our friends with Swift Fuels. Brian.
Pleasure, Dave. Thank you.
Take the glasses off so I can see here.
Yep.
Stirm.
Yep, there you go.
Well, I messed up that name, Brian.
Oh, you're fine.
Welcome to Showcase Stage.
Thanks a lot,
Brian,
Dave. We're not doing too bad.
Now, Swift Fuels.
Yes.
The Swift is a beautiful airplane, but does it require its very own fuel?
Well, no, but actually Swifts can be powered by Swift Fuel.
Swift Fuels.
We're the leader in unleaded fuels in aviation. So
all right.
Keep that in mind.
I've been following Swift Fuels since it first came out. That for the aviation people, they're looking for a replacement for 100 low lead. And I mean, lead is bad for an engine. They try and tell you that lead is in an engine to lubricate it, give added extra lubrication to your engine, but it's really just an octane booster, isn't it?
Octane enhancement only. That's correct.
Yeah. And it's polluting. It's not 100 low leaded fuel is not good for the environment.
Well, and we have real toxicology issues too with human health.
Yeah,
so that's part of it too.
So you guys started out, there was a big push several years ago that trying to find an alternative for 100 low lead, and 1,000 different companies popped up, but they're going to have the revolutionary replacement for 100 low lead. I've been following you guys from the beginning.
Thank you
And
very
I
much.
am so glad to see, A, that you're still around, and B, you guys have actually delivered.
Yes,
you're
that's
selling an alternative to 100 low. Let's first start out with why are they looking to replace leaded fuel for aircraft?
Well, the big reason, of course, is maintenance aspects. As you mentioned before, it keeps the engine gets dirty with lead in there. The only reason for it is for octane enhancement. So if we can actually create an unleaded high octane fuel, we've got the problem solved. And we get all the maintenance derivatives that we've seen in the automotive industry, quite honestly, which is longer life, spark plugs that don't foul, engine oil that stays cleaner, the engine itself stays cleaner internally.
Yeah, I was talking with my friend Mike C. there with the Lakeland Aero Club, and Mike was saying that his airplane, a special little cub he was out here flying, loves Swift Fuel. He said that the plane flies better on Swift Fuel and it stays cleaner. That was impressive to me, that somebody with the knowledge that Mike has is raving on your fuel. I mean, like I said, I've been a follower and a supporter of you guys all along, but to hear somebody whose opinion of this kind of thing that I know has way more knowledge than me on it.
Well, in a flight school standpoint too, like he's operating, the time in the air is most important. You don't want time on the ground. And when they do an engine run up and have a valid spark plug, then it goes back to the hangar. You do maintenance, the student loses that flight hour, and it costs money. It costs the student money, it costs the operator money. So the airplane needs to be in the air.
And besides that, Mike's particular thing is the Lakeland Aero Club, so he's taking young people, fresh out of high school, or not even out of high school yet, with a fresh ink on their pilot's ticket. Airplane has to be running well and performing at its utmost. And he said that with your fuel in it, it's happy. He said, my bird loves Swift Fuel. This airplane, standing in front of the cup, this airplane loves Swift Fuel. He's like, show me, see those black streaks down under the cowling? I don't get those when I run Swift Fuel. So, okay. So
and flight schools around the country have said the same thing too. We've got a lot of flight school operations with the UL94 fuel, and they say the same thing.
So we're looking to replace 100 low lead with some form of unleaded fuel. What did it take Swift Fuels? What was the process to replace it, to get an unleaded fuel that would give you the performance you needed? What were your criteria, or what were your challenges to overcome?
We wanted to come up with as close to a drop-in replacement for 100 low lead as we possibly could in the high octane range. And then we thought, while we're doing that, it would make good sense to answer the demand of the lower octane applications, especially since we knew how important the light sport world was, and the Rotex engines, which while they can use 100 low lead and they can run auto fuel, they really were looking for a better fuel than that in all the Rotex powered airplanes. And of course the benefits are also in the Lycomings and Continentals and all the other lower octane airplanes, the 94 fuel.
So not only is it a Swift fuel, and you're calling it a 94, you said? Your octane is 94?
94 motor octane, it's an Ananoch index of 98.
Okay. So your Swift fuel, but then you have one, right? It's not like you sell 6 different octanes, right? You have one octane?
No, actually have 2 octane. Okay. We've got the low octane 94 that we are currently selling at over 50 airports in the United States here. In fact, we shipped it to Europe as well. In fact, we flew an airplane, a Bonanza, an early model Bonanza, all the way from California clear to Germany on UL 94 fuel.
Wow.
And we also have our high octane fuel, which is the replacement for 100 low lead. That's in the aviation program that the FAA is working on right now.
So you guys have or have not received FAA? You're already allowed to sell it. I mean, you received FAA.
The 94 fuel is exactly right. There are known specifications for that octane level, and many airplanes are certified on those different specifications. So since the fuel meets the specifications, then it's a usable fuel in all those airplanes requiring that specification. An example, the 8087 airplanes and below, the D910 standard by ASTM for the lower octane fuel that we used to use for many, many years is met by the UL 94 fuel. So those airplanes that are 8087 octane and below, certificated airplanes, require no STC. You can just pour the fuel in and go. And that's the same case with the light sport airplanes and most of the home builds in the experimental world too. Pour the fuel in and just go fly. Now, there's another group of airplanes that originally were certified in the 91, 96 category, labeled 100 low lead today in most applications. Okay. And we have avgas STCs for the use of 94 octane fuel in those airplanes. They didn't derive the benefits of the cleaner burning and the lack of plug fouling, and those airplanes, quite honestly, are in many, many flight schools currently today. We're talking about Cessna 172Rs and S's, we're talking about Piper Seminoles, and if you look at any of the university and larger flight schools around the United States and the world, those are the airplanes that they're using. The Diamond line of airplanes, for example, the 94 fuel works in very well. And the flight school derives the benefit of reduced maintenance. Lycoming engines, for example, recently has allowed double oil change intervals. So you go from 50 hours to 100 hours on your oil change interval. Well, guess what? That's a lot of maintenance savings.
It is. It's a huge savings.
Parts of oil filters and oil. And guess what? When you talk the recycling world, now there's less oil to dispose of, too. So that benefits the environment, too.
So now you're saying about you can drop it straight into the aircraft.
That's correct.
Without changing. What might I have to change if I want to?
On the UL 94, nothing.
Okay.
If you're talking an STC airplane, the middle tranche of airplanes, you're looking at a paperwork update, which is a flight manual revision and placards on the wing of the airplane near the fuel fillers. That's it.
That's it. So
operationally,
and signage.
It starts, it runs, all the temperatures, you're looking at cylinder head temperatures, exhaust gas temperatures, identical to what you see if you were operating 100 low lead. But you've got the maintenance benefits as well.
And what are they getting? What's the average price of a gallon of 100 low lead nowadays?
Well, Swift doesn't set the price. We are a supplier.
On the market for regular avgas 100 low lead.
Mm-hmm.
What's 100? Any pilots in the crowd tell me what a gallon 100 low lead is selling for nowadays?
Well, a good example is right here. It's
all right. $4.80 or $5 a gallon. Okay. What's Swift?
We're selling it here at DeLand for $4 a gallon.
So you're putting 30, 40 gallons of gas in your aircraft. That's a significant savings there too.
Saving 75 cents a gallon thereabouts.
That adds up when you're 20, 30 bucks a fill up. That means that's how much more flying you can do on your fuel dime.
The big benefit, even if the price was exactly the same, is the maintenance aspects of it. And of course that's a big operational benefit.
All right, so now you guys have a presence here on the field. You have a booth.
That's correct. We have a booth just right on the other side of the main tent there.
Okay.
And we're glad. We also have a fuel cart here that we're selling fuel out of. So anyone that needs fuel here at DeLand, welcome to let us know. We got a sign-up sheet, or just grab us and we'll go to your airplane and fill it. We can fill the airplanes that are in the transit parking area across the runway, as well as the show planes that are right here in the facility in the vendor display booths.
Now, how are you guys dealing with being received by or rejected by all the, as they call them, the big oil? What are they saying about Swift Fuels? You guys got?
Well, we partner with all of these people. We partner with all of these people, and they've been very supportive of what we're doing. So we make sure as we go into an airport that we're in a friendly environment, that everyone is happy with what we're doing as far as the transition from particularly where they were using MoGas before. Keep in mind, the MoGas that's been at airports is not an approved product for aviation per the fuel manufacturers. So if you talk to Exxon and Phillips and all those other manufacturers that are selling fuel at airports, that's their concern with using auto fuel, or MoGas as we call it in aviation, in airplanes. And it's not commercially insured. Swift's 94 is commercially insured for aviation application. It's true avgas. It meets all the standards of aviation gasoline, meaning that the potential gums is low, meaning good long-term storability, less corruption in the fuel system of the engine and airframe. It's commercially insured, as I mentioned. It has the same vapor pressure. This is an important key, especially in low-wing airplanes, as avgas. It is avgas.
Great. Now let me ask you this: running MoGas. I'm not 100% honesty here. Full disclosure. I'm not 100% up on running MoGas in airplanes, automotive gas in airplanes. Are they running the same gas that comes out of it as a regular, mid-grade, premium ethanol blend? What's in MoGas that they're buying now? Well, they're not your fuel, but right. The MoGas they're putting in airplanes now.
What they have to find, generally speaking, is ethanol-free MoGas of generally a 91 or better octane rate. The Rotex engines, for example, the 80 horsepower engines can use the lower grade, the 87 AKI fuel, but the 100 horse ones have to have the 91. And what we find is when they take the ethanol is a octane booster, just like the lead's an octane booster in 100 low lead. So when you take the ethanol away, it's very difficult to find a 91 AKI fuel for the Rotex engines. Our Swift is 98 AKI, so you're 5 octane points, or 7 actually, higher than what you truly need, and it's right in, and so you got good protection margin from detonation. Not that the Rotex has detonation problems,
right?
But we're really beneficial.
Just another step to prevent them.
That's correct.
Now I do a lot of boating down in the Keys, in by Palm Beach County and down in South Florida area, and I made the mistake of just running regular automotive gas in my boat for years. And suddenly I'm faced with granted, this is a boat, not an airplane, but I'm faced and I'm knocked over backwards, and I'm paying a $1,700 bill to have all 6 of my fuel filters and all 8 of my fuel injectors in my boat worked because of the ethanol, what the ethanol and the fuel did to my fuel systems. And my mechanic is like, you need to run non-ethanol gas. Then I started shopping, I had to find non-ethanol, right, or gas without ethanol, unless I go to the marina and buy it from the marina,
which is expensive,
$5 a gallon.
Right. Yeah.
I found one gas station in Key Largo sells non-ethanol gas. So if I'm on my way to the Rams, I can fill up there. What is the ethanol and MoGas doing to our airplanes? If it's mucking up my boat that much?
Well,
and the worst I'm going to need is a tow in when the engine conks out. I'm losing power. It's going to take me longer to get back to the dock because my boat won't produce the power. I can imagine in an airplane that's going to be a huge problem. What is the ethanol and MoGas doing to airplane engines?
Well, it all depends on what type of an airframe it is and what its fuel system is designed at. There have been a few light sport manufacturers that have endorsed and used ethanol fuel. But by and large, the FAA and the industry says no ethanol fuel because a large portion of our airplanes have aluminum fuel systems. Aluminum fuel tanks, fuel lines, gaskelators, shutoff valves, things like that. What happens is when the ethanol and water blend together, it becomes a very corrosive mixture. It goes to the bottom of the tank, if you will, if there's separation. And this will lay in these components. In fact, at the Swift booth, we've got a carburetor from, I believe, Cessna 150, an MA3 carburetor, and it's fully corroded in the bottom from the ethanol fuel. So the outboard motor and the lawn and garden industry, they basically have the same problem because there are a lot of aluminum components in those vehicles.
And I can run, let's just say I wanted to start running Swift fuel in my boat rather than running the
Sure. Bring it on.
I know ethanol. You guys got a dealer down somewhere in Miami or West Palm Beach? I could buy some Swift fuel for.
Not yet. We'd be happy to entertain that, of course. Now, keep in mind the aviation gasolines do not have road taxes on them. They have federal airways taxes. So, if you're using it for a road application, you're not quite correct and legal. In the off-road applications, such as a boat or a weed trimmer or anything like that, you're fine. Now, actually, Swift makes a product specifically for the smaller engines, and we call it Sure Starter.
Really? And now, is that sold out of a pump or in a can?
No, we actually sell it online through a website, sure.starter.com.
Sure.starter.com. And now, sure-starter.com.
Sorry about that.
Sure, SURE-starter.com.
Yes.
Say that a few times for our folks out there in Facebook land.
A tongue twister, right?
By this time of the event, I've got, look at my watch going, okay, I got about 2 hours and 45 minutes left of the event, but who's counting? 16, 15.
We developed that product actually for the first line firefighters around the country because they were having real issues with the equipment on their trucks not starting and the carburetors corroding up with the ethanol fuel that they were buying from the gas pumps. So while it's not an aviation application and it's a lower octane fuel even than our 94, that's what we purposely built that fuel for. So that's the mantra of what Swift is all about. We see a problem area in aviation primarily, that's where we're focused. We'll solve it. We innovate to solve the problem. We go into history, we do a lot of research and a lot of testing to prove that our products are better than any other in that area, any area.
Now you guys are, you're working on getting into different areas. You have a product on the market, it's doing well. How hard is it to get people to agree to come in when they're used to that? What are they going to have to do? Are they going to have to re-rig their fuel trucks, replace their fuel trucks?
Nope.
What about their tanks?
Nope. In fact, Swift is very helpful for any airport that's interested in transitioning to the UL 94 fuel. We've refurbished fuel trucks. We've put complete turnkey fuel systems together for airports. Keep in mind, the standard is a jet fuel tank and a 100 low lead tank at an airport. So that third fuel is a little more awkward. Now, a lot of our UL 94 airports were formerly MoGas airports as well, and we just converted that tank. We've also found a lot of unused jet fuel tanks around airports around the United States, have converted those. We have very good prices. We work with large fuel tank suppliers, and if an airport is interested in 94 fuel, we'll do our dead level best to get them that fuel as quickly as possible if they'd like. What it takes, because sometimes the aviation administrations of airports aren't as knowledgeable as being at events like here at DeLand and hearing about this. It takes the pilots and aircraft owners that are using the fuel and love the fuel to go to them, airport boards, airport managers, and saying, hey, we'd like this Swift product at our airport. And so it's kind of almost a grassroots campaign to get this going. And of course, economies of scale, the more airports we have, the more transportation costs are reduced, and everyone's happy.
All right, and now, so you're kind of, normally when you bring a new product to market, you start out with the importer manufacturer, which is you guys, and you go to the national distributors that break down to the regional distributors that break down to the local distributors that break down to the local retail people that wind up down to the consumer. But what you guys are kind of going backwards in, you're starting with the consumer, telling the consumers, hey, tell them we want this. tell them you want to get this product. Enough consumers go to the retail guy and say, I want this. He's going to go to his distributor, and it's going to go back up the chain of command.
Well, the distribution part of this is Swift.
Okay.
We're actually producing and distributing the fuel. So that was one way we can control costs. Because keep in mind, every point in the distribution chains adds a profit margin. And so we're trying to make it as economically possible for pilots to fly the best fuel.
So you're gonna not only make the fuel, you're gonna distribute it to your customers.
And we are. We're the only unleaded avgas distributor and producer in the United States.
Now, where do you see it going? What's your, well, I mean, where are you now? I don't know if I want to say percentage-wise or area-wise. How many different distributors throughout the country do you have for your fuel?
We have over 50 airports.
Retail, 50
retail outlets.
In how many states?
Well, it's 19 states, I think it is now. So we just added another airport in Massachusetts. We're working on another airport in California. The Pacific Northwest, we're not covered well. We're just adding more airports in Florida. We're covered very well in the Midwest, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin especially. And so you fly to AirVenture, for example, from Florida here, from about any point in the country. As you approach AirVenture Oshkosh, you can stop for your Fuel 94 fuel.
Now, where are you guys based? Where are you located?
Lafayette, Indiana is our production facility. West Lafayette, Indiana, near the home of Purdue University, is our research facility. We're in the Purdue Research Park.
Great. Well, what else can you tell me about Swift Fuels that we haven't already covered here on? I mean, I'm sure we could go for hours and hours. But,
try it, you'll like it.
Try it, you'll like it. Okay.
We have our best endorsement are the people, just as you mentioned, Mike Z there at the Lakeland Flying Club. Operators that are seeing the benefits on a daily basis, and they're reporting back to us and reporting to other folks. So the best advertising we can possibly do is having satisfied customers, and we go to the nth degree to keep those customers satisfied and ask you any questions that they might happen to have.
All right, well, we sure appreciate you coming by and talking to us one more time. You've got a presence
right over
here in the field.
Yep.
Right out there. You're like right in the middle of the commercial area.
What's our booth number?
313.
There you go, 313.
Oh, 31. 31. Booth number 31 out in the commercial exhibit area. Right about in the center, aren't you?
Right in the center, exactly.
Yeah, right. You guys are right.
We can serve both ends of the exhibition line very easily.
There we go. And online, your website is?
SwiftFuels.com.
SwiftFuels with an S?
Yep.
.com.
Exactly.
SwiftFuels.com.
Yep.
You got social media, you got Facebook pages and all that,
yep.
Since we're doing a Facebook Live.
Yep. We have a virtual map, too, of all of our locations around the United States, too.
All right.
And we're on AirNav, so if you want to plan a cross-country trip and use UL 94, you know the airports to stop at. Part of the aviation website that the FAA takes care of, for fuel location.
Okay. Well, we sure appreciate you making time and taking time
Thank
to come
you, Dave.
talk to us. Thank you, guys. We look forward to seeing you back here again next year at Showcase.
We'll be here.
And looking forward to seeing you guys this coming April at Sun and Fun.
Certainly.
Hopefully we'll be doing we're
be at Sebring too.
Some behind the scenes stuff here, folks, but you really need to keep an eye on Sun and Fun Radio's page and see what there might be some good news coming around from Swift.
Thank you for doing this forum too, Dave.
No. Thank you guys for making time to talk to us. Actually, twice. I'm glad you were able to get here and talk to us twice. All right, we are going to take a quick break, and we are going to come back. I'm running behind the schedule here. I'm 22 minutes, actually 2:22. That's funny. We're going to be coming back here very shortly and announcing the winner of our My Go Flight DeLand Aviation Expo Showcase.
Thank you. Oh, it's awesome. You guys rock.
This is Brian Stirm. I got like 5 fuel orders I gotta go do.
Mr. Mike,
Okay.
We ready to wrap up this video?
Yep.
Cool.